Are you dreaming of the lifestyle that comes with successful trading? Well, it's time to make it a reality. Welcome to the Trading Ascension Podcast, where you can discover methods to improve your trading results by focusing on your trading psychology. I'm Jason E., your guide on this path to trading improvement, self-discovery, and self-mastery. Together, we'll explore the personal and spiritual growth journey of profitable day trading. Prepare to unlock the secrets of the trader's mind and align your inner self with your personal success. Listen to this episode if you want to ascend to new levels of trading excellence and personal development. This is Trading Ascension, supporting your journey to mastering trading psychology and personal growth for consistent profits. Let's elevate your trading and your consciousness starting now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Trading Ascension Podcast. Before we dive in, I want to let you know that there is a special gift waiting for you within this show. A career-changing opportunity that I'm excited to share with you. So stick around, listening all the way through, and I promise you it'll be worth your time as I give you a special gift. Let's get started. In today's episode, we're diving into the nature of solutions. The goal is helping us understand and break the cycle of repeated day trading mistakes. We all know mistakes are part of the journey. But what really stings is when you know exactly what to do, yet you can't follow through when it matters most. You know, at that moment when you repeat the same mistake, it feels like a slap in the face, right? It's a reminder that you're not moving forward closer to your goals. It's a reminder that maybe you're stuck, right? And worse yet, it might be a reminder you're even going backwards. But by the end of this episode, I'm not only, going to help us understand why this happens, but also walk you through a process that has actionable steps for making real progress. And again, I do have a special gift to take you even further down the trading journey. I'm getting kind of, I don't know if giddy's the word, but I'm excited to share this with you. Let's see if I can get my thoughts together. So trading has its ups and downs, right? At least it does for me, and I think it does for you all as well. But if your journey feels like a roller coaster of these extreme highs and extreme lows, not only are you not alone, but that might be a sign that there's some issues, right? Because that's abnormal to have extreme when there definitely is a roller coaster, right? So maybe you keep making the same mistakes, even after listening to countless Trading Ascension episodes about behavioral change. Or perhaps you're like me, right? And you thought you'd finally conquered an issue only to find it resurfacing weeks or months later. If you have record-breaking trading months that are too far apart and setbacks seem to repeat, then this episode is for you. Today, I'm going to break down what I'm just calling the nature of solutions, so you can understand the real purpose behind these challenges and how to integrate them in your growth. And then you're going to leave with actionable steps to help you make lasting progress as a trader, and most importantly, stop going backwards. So let's begin at a high level, and then we'll get more granular to really understand, again, what I'm calling the nature of solutions. To do that, we first have to look at, the nature of problems. And I'm going to be honest, comfort doesn't change people. Comfortable people don't change. Now, this is a general statement. There may be some examples of, I'm super, whatever. I'm not going to go down that path. But in general, comfortable people don't change. No one ever sat in a lazy what do you call those? Lazy boy chairs. Is this a lazy boy I'm in? I have to check this. I got a really great office chair. But no one's ever sat in a comfortable chair and said, you know what? This is the most comfortable chair I've ever experienced. I should get up. Right? Or this is the best steak that I ever had. I'm not going to cut another piece. Right? In reality, change comes when there's contrast, when something pushes us out of our comfort. Maybe the chair is great, but you have to get up because you're shopping for chairs, right? It's not yours. You got to get up and go pay for it, right? Or you're enjoying the chair, but guilt creeps in, right? Let's say it is yours and guilt creeps in and you're like, man, I got shit to do. Right? I got to get up, right? So change usually happens when there's a strong enough contrast, something pushing you away from the situation or something pulling you to another situation. You don't stop eating steak because it's delicious, right? You stop because you're full. The universe is fundamentally expansive, right? So it's built to present us with contrast, so we're forced with growth. And contrast is something that every living being on this planet has to experience. You know, I started a podcast, I paused it. This is a side note, but it talked about plants having eyes and how plants are connected all around the world, you know, continents that are connected, you know, I don't know if they meant through water or whatever, but plants are all connected. They're the dominant organism on this planet and they serve us purposefully. And they can see with these little things that are found in their, you know, their leaves and their stems, and they watch us. And it was weird. I didn't get through it, but what am I talking about? I don't even know why I'm going down that path. Because everything is forced to grow in this universe through contrast. So those plants, okay, I have a point here. You know, those seeds have to push against dirt, right? They're buried, literally. And they have to grow down first before they can sprout up, right? So the contrast is just the earth, gravity. So my first point is trading mistakes are not setbacks. They're the path to growth and realizing new, improved versions of ourselves. The next thing to understand is that actions we take aren't wrong by themselves. They only become wrong in the context of our new goals. You know, you ever heard philosophies about life is meaningless? You know, life is the meaning you give to it. There's, you know, maybe it's because I'm a old fogey, right? But it's true, right? And you'll find this out in your life. Life only has the meaning we give to it. Every situation has an inherent good and bad quality to it that you can expose based on how you believe the situation to be, right? If you believe the situation is going to serve you, it's going to serve you. If you believe it's pointless, has no point, it's not going to serve you, right? So it's important to have a great attitude with the understanding that we're talking about right now, that contrast is for growth, right? So these actions we take, they aren't wrong by themselves. They only become wrong in the context of our new goals, right? So we have this new goal to become a profitable trader, but that wasn't the old goal. So the programming, the actions we take won't always align with that. Most of these mistakes, they don't start with technical errors, right? They start with subconscious beliefs, emotional triggers, and old habits. If you just address the surface level, which we have to do also, don't get me wrong, but if you only address that, like tweaking your strategy or adding a new indicator without understanding what's really driving your actions, I can promise you the same problem will show up, maybe in different forms, but it's going to be the same problem. Trading by nature, the market itself, it pulls out human emotions, right? I don't know why. Maybe I've talked about it before, but I can't recall why it does that to us. But fear, greed, regret, those emotions can override logic and discipline in a heartbeat. Fear might make you exit a trade too early. Greed might make you, keep your losing trade too long. These emotions, they act like prompts, right? You know how we talk about AI prompts? I don't know if you guys are, but I'm way into learning about this prompt world. But emotions are human prompts for our system, right? Our hard drive. And they trigger old subconscious strategies. I won't say old, but they were programmed old, but they trigger these subconscious strategies, and these strategies are meant to keep us safe, keep us moving forward. And most of us don't even know what these programs or these strategies are until we see the results and we start digging to the root of the cause. You know, it's unlikely that you know what the program is until you see the result, and the result contrast with a situation. And, you know, I think about this a lot as a parent. There's certain things that my son may do, and I'm like, man, if I don't say something about this, and I know it's not an effective strategy to get the things that I know he wants in his life, then he's going to have to learn out in the world that that's ineffective, right? Which is a painful lesson. Why not teach him that? Hey, son, that doesn't work. This approach in general may work sometimes, but it's not going to work in this dimension often. It's not going to get you to where you want to be. So we need to work on the programming and why you think this is effective, right? It's part of my job as a father. So it's only when we see the results can we backtrack and say, what belief caused me to act like that? Right? Because these beliefs, most subconscious, I think we talked about that last week, 95% of us are running on subconscious behavior, right? And even the things that we do consciously, because I'm not just talking about the heart beating, the cell regeneration, the hair growth, the nail growth, right? The processing of billions of bits of information, delete, distort, and generalize until we have conscious information that we can deal with, right? That process, delete, distort, generalize, gives us this information, but behind that is this programming. And we have to get to the root of that, because these beliefs, the subconscious programming, causes beliefs, which causes us to take action, right? And eventually these habits become our character, and they become so deeply ingrained within us that they're invisible to us. It's just who we are. And I know it's not you as a listener to this show, but a lot of people have trouble accepting that how they're showing up is not who they are at their core, and that they can change, because growth can be difficult and the contrast can be undesired. So here's an analogy of change in day trading. Let's say, and I hope I can get this out because I was just thinking about this, but let's say I'm a grass fanatic, right? I love my front lawn, which I do, but this is just an analogy, right? So stick with me. I want my yard to be immaculate, right? And let's say it's the start of the season, right? Spring, where I'm from, the snow would just start to lift, right? And that snow just starts to melt. So it leaves a good early foundation for the grass to grow. And I'm hype, right? I've have these images, right? Took a picture every day last year, and I'm tracking the color of my grass in the fullness, right? I'm keeping data of what's happening. I have a sprinkler system, right? And it has a rain detector. The rain detector is a mechanism that's programmed in the system that detects when it's raining at the time that my automatically scheduled system should turn on. So it doesn't waste water or money, right? So if it's raining at 1:30 a.m. when the sprinkler system's supposed to come on, it won't come on. Rain detector will stop it from doing that. Okay, that's the foundation here in this analogy. So it's the start of the spring, and I noticed one week my grass is not as green as it should be at this time of the year, right? And I know that because I got some data. I got pictures, right? And I'm looking at it. I see some spots. It's not full. There's some yellow areas. And I'm like, yo, this isn't the result I'm seeking, right? And I am, looking at my water system, and I'm like, man, what's going on? It doesn't seem to be helping. So I head to YouTube, right? Because I need to fix this problem I'm having. So I'm putting in, how do you fix yellow grass? I watch a YouTube guy, and he's phenomenal. The video's entertaining. Looks like he's balling in the grass world, grass expert. He tells me he's turning 10,000 pieces of yellow grass green every single day. I'm like, damn, I'm so impressed. Right. So I watched the video the whole way, and he's like, yeah, I buy fertilizer with this grass patch repair. I'm go get that bag of repair stuff, right? Gives me a fix for my symptom of yellow grass, right? Because I don't know the root cause. I'm just looking at symptoms. We often do that as traders. And I put on this grass patch repair fertilizer. And it says that, if I don't water it good, it's going to burn the grass. So I water it by hand for a few days, a few weeks, actually. And I'm like, all right, if I'm watering it during the day and the program grass is watering it at night, then I'm going to have this full coverage, right? 24-hour coverage, right? So I'm motivated to fix this issue. So I start the manually watering. I get up early in the morning before bed, and I'm like, the system is going to come on overnight, 24-hour coverage. This is awesome, right? So I got this quick fix, working extra hard, and my grass starts to look great again, right? So I stopped the manual watering, right? Because I've never had to do that before. I had great grass last summer, so I stop it. And I rely on the system because it's always worked, right? And then, what do you know? I get back on track. But a week later, right? I'm in the spring, a few weeks later, I guess. Early spring or late spring, early summer, and my grass is fading again. I'm thinking, man, I thought I solved this issue already. So this time I repeat the process. And again, I manually am able to work with it, and I get some green grass. Okay, cool. Fix this problem again. I know how to fix it, right? Not temporary fix, it doesn't seem like, because I had to do it again, but whatever. I stopped manually watering, and damn, my grass is dying again. Man, what is going on, right? So I decide that I got to dig deeper, right? I checked the system. Maybe I programmed it wrong, right? Maybe it's not coming on the days it should be coming on, right? And it's not coming on twice at night, right? So I check the system. I might need a new battery, right? Maybe I need to replace the system's battery. So I do that, and I wait, and nothing, right? My grass is just fading. These results aren't the results that I want. So I'm like, all right, I gotta dig deeper. I'm going to stay up, and at that time, 1:30, whatever at night that is supposed to come on, I'm going to show up. I'm going to see what happened. I'm going to bring awareness to this problem. I'm going to be the witness of this situation, right? Because maybe, something's off at night. And sure enough, I'm out here. It's 1:30 in the morning. I notice my neighbor's sprinklers come on. So I'm like, all right, well, the neighborhood's getting water. Can't be something like that. And his turn on about 15 minutes before mine, right? So it's about 11:15. Mine's are supposed to come on at 11:30. And there's just a small patch where his hits mine because our yards touch, right? And I realized that where it's hitting mine is right where the rain detector is. And my system doesn't come on. I'm like, man, this hasn't been coming on for probably months. My neighbor's water is tricking my rain sensor. The programming that I have in this grass has a new situation in the world that's not allowing it to be effective. I was saving money with the rain sensor. Now I'm going backwards and getting yellow grass from that same programming. So I simply, changed the timer program. But now that I have clarity on what the root cause of this problem is, I have so many options, right? I can water on different times. I can water on different days from my neighbor. I got all of these solutions, and I know all of them will work because I have clarity on the real problem. Before, when I was just fixing solutions or fixing symptoms, right? Yellow grass, looking up videos and getting patch repairs. Yeah, those are temporary fixes. But eventually the problem came back because at the core, at the programming, there was an issue. I can wait till my neighbor's system goes off. So I implement some solutions, and eventually, with little effort, my grass is green, right? Not maximum manual effort. Because when the programming is set towards the desired goal, things become effortlessly. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to lose in the wrong mindset, right? You ever think that, man, if I lost $2,000 that quick, it seems like I should be able to make money that quick. And the answer is you can't. Just as fast as you are blowing accounts and losing money, you could be doubling accounts and making money. It's all about the programming. So this grass scenario, thanks for bearing with me through that. Hope that made sense. It's just like trading. Have you ever thought you fixed the trading issue only to have it come back weeks or months later? And it's probably because the program or the problem wasn't solved at its root. And what makes this more difficult and frustrating is that all problems must be brought to the light and solved individually, right? And, I might have needed to solve that program. And then maybe watching the grass, I also saw that a sprinkler head was broken, right? So one by one, we have to fix these problems. And this is why I talk about the journey, right? The personal and spiritual growth journey of profitable trading, because it really is a journey. And that word alludes to the longevity that you need to take in your approach, right? I never want to allude to anything quick and easy, right? Because it's not always quick and easy. It's simple, right? And simple is not easy, right? Is that the saying? There are no nuke all problems and solutions, not only in trading, but really in life, right? Even the most powerful tools out there, right? They can clump things together, but there's no fix all, right? You can't take, like ayahuasca, right? They say that solves a lot of problems. Haven't done it before, but you can't take this ayahuasca and solve all life problems forever. Even if we're talking about issues and taking them to Jesus, which I suggest, right? We have to face them and bring them to the light as they arise and renew constantly. Jesus even said it in Matthew 7, and no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins and both the wine and the wineskins will be ruined. No, they pour new wine in new wineskins. So we have to be renewed for each problem. And I was looking into Moses, right? He's a character, person from the Bible who went through great trials and tribulations. And I noticed that Moses prayed consistently over his people and over the situations they were in. God just didn't say, hey, you're going to leave Egypt? I got you. Right. And he just coasted through the whole thing. No, he was praying every single step of it. He was praying before the parting of the sea, praying for the food and the manna to drop out. Right. Praying to find his way to the promised land through all types of adversity. And he was facing them one by one. Sometimes you can group, smaller problems together, but most must be addressed one by one as they show up in your trading and in your life. Right. So as we flesh out the nature of solutions, remember, problems support growth, but they must be addressed mostly one by one. And that painstaking process of facing and overcome challenges is what trading is all about. You know what that's called? You know what the problem or the process of just, this is a problem and solve this problem and overcoming and growing. You know what that's called? It's called life, right? Life is what's happening between these milestones that you're focused on. Lock into life, my friend. This isn't that movie Click with, remember that with Adam Sandler? It's kind of an older movie, but he found this remote and he would fast forward his way through pain just to get the results, right? Then he realized, oh man, I never even got the result and I'm old, right? And then finally the remote let him go back to the modern day, but he basically just fast forward through his whole life. Every successful person will tell you the journey is the destination, right? I've talked to a lot of millionaires about this. They always talk about the good old days working towards where they are. How you feel, act, and respond on the path to your goal is always going to be a good indication of how it feels once you get there. But I can tell you the feelings are probably going to be greater on the journey. We have to dig deep into our programming to uncover the reasons that we get results. It's part of the journey. Nothing's random. Without deep self inquiry, we risk repeating the same mistakes. And if we switch markets, if we switch strategies, if we switch tools, if we switch environments, we're still going to carry us with us. You heard that saying, wherever you go, there you are. We think we're running from problems, but we are the problem. Long-term success comes from understanding and transforming the beliefs and habits that are driving our decisions, not just for technical skill. Now, here we always talk about all-encompassing solutions, right? Things on the chart, the beliefs that support the actions you've taken on the chart, right? So there's a holistic approach, but the root cause is going to be the programming behind the action. So in my analogy, right, I finally watched the sprinkler, stayed up late, saw that my neighbor's system was coming on, and it was really affecting mine. Now, my system said everything was fine, but the rain detector was being triggered for months. So I realized my neighbor was hitting my sprinkler, and then all of a sudden I had real options. Real options because now I understood the root cause. And it's the same with trading, right? Once you get clarity on the real issue, solutions become obvious because you're not just guessing or copying what someone else did online. When you are trying to fix symptoms, when you do that, you'll get mixed results. So some key takeaways from that story, right? We have to track data. You know, it would have been, I don't do that in real life. I don't have pictures of my grass from every day, but in trading, we have to track data, right? We have to have a way to measure change. There's a saying that if you don't measure it, it can't grow. Without having images of last year's grass, I could never have, think about that. If I didn't have pictures of the grass, I could have gone weeks until all the grass was dead, not knowing I had a problem. But because I had a foundation of what should be happening, which is our trading strategy, our trading plan, and our trading system, those 3 tiers that need to be aligned, they let us know, okay, something's off. And it's off in the execution. So we're solving the root cause, not the symptom, right? The symptom leads us back to the root cause. Another thing from that story is don't seek quick fixes. I went on, YouTube, and the guy was like, get fertilizer. And it helped for a little bit, but it was short term. The problem came back. Another good takeaway from that story is only the root cause of an issue can provide real solutions. And once we know the cause, the solutions will start to appear, right? So again, before I had to guess about the fertilizer, getting answers online for a problem that I wasn't sure of. Does that sound familiar? But after finding the root cause, I had real options. And I'm clear on the root causes. When I'm clear on the root causes in trading, you can get to the programming. And the programming isn't wrong in itself. But when it comes up against real world scenarios, we can realize the programming doesn't serve our goals like it did before. And every time we want to go to a new level, we have to change our programming. One thing I learned in a mastermind group that I was in a few years ago was what got you here may not get you there. And this was back when it was all about scaling, multiplying, 10xing your life. And a lot of times people think that, okay, if I've taken this action to get here, I just have to do more of this action to get to the next level. And that's not always true. Sometimes we need a new system to produce different results. You can't just do more of the same, what got you to where you are at this moment, and think just more of that is going to keep scaling. Scaling doesn't work that way. So I need new programming. What got you here may not get you there. So the programming must change for us to change. And that's the key, because this is what we do as humans, right? We are not accountable for our programming, especially as day traders. We start to blame, right? I could have been like the damn neighbor, or damn market, these darn indicators, dang spouse, dang environment. This excuse, this blame. We don't take accountability. We must take accountability. You're the creator of your reality, man. You got to own that. If not, you're going to fall into a victim stance. And once I realized this, man, I'm not a victim, because I was programmed to be a victim. Man, no other change in my life lost more friends than me saying I'm not a victim. My whole world was torn down, right? A facade was lifted. And I was like, man, I'm around a bunch of victims. I wouldn't even use the words that I was describing it, but I was like, man, this is not me. Creator of this reality, right? I am built in the image of the Most High. So everything was torn down. So we have to be accountable. So to just sum up this section and let's move on. We all have this subconscious programming, and it served us. It's kept us safe, and it served a few other purposes that we won't get into, but the programming is solid. But it may no longer serve us based on the results that we want to get. So with self-awareness, we can analyze our results, dig for the root cause, and move forward with new beliefs and actions that are created from new programming. So we can get better results, and then we can be ready for the next challenge that life throws at us. Now, here's the part that's 100% true. And yet it's why most traders quit this endeavor. It's because there is a constant need to grow. We must find and eliminate problem after problem to reach success. There's no magic bullet. There's no fix all issues. And, a lot of times, like I have within my trading program, an AI system that I believe, right? And they trade the AI every single morning. I believe it's one of the best AI systems in the world just by seeing it. But still, when I was running that AI system, I had to know when to deploy it. So there was still a human aspect, right? There were certain markets for certain AIs that I had to turn on. And I'm sure a lot of systems are like that, right? Every AI can't work in every market. So they talk about these easy fixes, but there's still some aspects of where you have to grow. And let's say you have an AI system, but your money blueprint is low. So now you have all this money. Next thing you know, you're folding, right? You've seen people that get money and their life just falls apart. They're like, man, I don't know what to do. Strippers, drugs, and it destroys them. Right. So growth, there's no way around our growth that's needed to accept the blessings that we want in higher and higher levels of abundance. No magic bullets. And I just learned this recently. This is why there's no magic bullets, right? Because that sucks that we have to take on these issues. And a lot of traders quit because of that. It's overwhelming. Some of us are adverse to change. But you want to know why it is? I just learned this recently in one of my one-on-one coachings, in which I'm the client, right? I'm getting coached. I discovered two things. One, see if I can say this in a way it makes sense. A single subconscious belief like I'm not good enough. It can show up as multiple trading mistakes, right? So a single belief can manifest in multiple ways, right? So maybe I'm over trading. Maybe I'm revenge trading. Maybe I'm over ignoring my stop losses. I'm hesitating to take valid setups. And all of these numerous trading issues can be brewing from the belief that I'm not good enough. So this is why problems must be addressed at their source, not just their symptoms. Now, similarly, one issue we produce in the world, like revenge trading, could have multiple root causes. Right. So you could revenge trade until you blow up an account because you don't feel worthy. You can revenge trade also when the belief that people with money are evil. And then you're taking that same revenge trade action when the prompt in your head of the fear of people will come and take your money from you. So 3 different beliefs in our subconscious programming are leading to the similar action in the real world, right? So do you understand those 2 paths? Hope that makes sense. Multiple mistakes can come from multiple beliefs can cause many mistakes, right? And one mistake can come from multiple beliefs. I think I said that right. I'm still wrapping my mind around it, right? It was light bulb came on when I learned that. So we have to be dynamic in our approach to solutions. And we have to face them one by one, sometimes in small groups. But again, there's no fix-all for issues. There's a detailed process that we have to take in improving, right? And addressing one evil at a time, one devil at a time, one setback at a time. And again, it's called life. So we have to use a deep dive into our programming to uncover the reason we got the results, because nothing is random. Without deep inquiry, we're always at risk for repeating the same mistake. And no matter, again, if you switch markets, strategies, tools. So we have to understand and transform beliefs, because that's the nature of solutions. But once we have clarity on an issue, we have 2 potential paths, or a combination of 2 paths at which we can move forward, right? So we can have the path of avoidance or the path of, destroying and destruction of the hurdle, right? So 2 paths, avoidance. Sometimes the best solution is to sidestep the trigger altogether, right? Removing yourself from situations where you're prone to that, to make the mistakes, right? When I think about that, should have got a trading example for that. But when I think about that, I think about, not buying junk food if you're on a diet, right? Instead of battling, opening the fridge and saying, oh, I can't have that. Maybe you don't buy that food, right? That would be avoidance. Now, for destruction, other issues require direct intervention. And again, the path it's never really extreme. It's always a little bit of both. But if you consistently lose, like on your first trade of the day, you can't avoid the first trade, right? It's not possible. So here you have to destroy the root cause, perhaps by changing your pre-market routine, right? Refining your entry strategy, whatever it is, right? So when we have these problems, we can avoid or we can do destruction, right? I think about destruction, right? Or avoiding. I guess this is more avoiding, but let's say I know traders that say, hey, I don't use a stop loss. It's mental, right? Now, if some traders having issues with that, they can easily put in a stop loss, right? So that is it's kind of an avoidance because you aren't facing the root issue, but it's something that might work while you work on the root issue and you get used to losing that certain amount of money. Later on, you can come off the training wheels. So let's talk about practical steps for finding solutions. You have to have data-driven reviews of your trading week or trading month, whatever cycle you're running in. Use your trade journal and your trading data to identify patterns, when mistakes happen most frequently, and what the triggers are for these issues. And then you have to have this emotional awareness, recognizing the role of emotions that are tied to the wrong action when you're not acting in your own best interest. Those emotions are what need to be resolved more than the actions and the beliefs that need to be resolved, because we run off of these emotional prompts. Fear, greed, things like that are prompts for action. It's only when we solve the energetic attachment and release it? Or are we able to change the belief? Developing a trading plan, practicing mindfulness, it can help anchor you in these new decisions, but we have to replace these old ones. We have to dissolve these old ones. So we have to understand that trading problems at the root level, it's not just about fixing mistakes. It's about evolving as a trader and as a person. When you address this core belief or this limitation behind your actions and the energy that's there, you can create lasting change and prevent old challenges from reappearing in new ways. And this approach turns trading into the journey of personal growth, not just a search for profits. So let me summarize this section and we'll move on. Every trading action reflects a belief. If you don't solve the real cause, you'll keep facing the same challenge, often in disguise. True progress comes from understanding and transforming these inner drivers, not just chasing external solutions. So let's talk about how to actually uncover and release the real cause behind your repeated trading mistakes. Remember, thorough investigation, it gives us the best chance of eliminating a problem. So my number one tip is don't chase after symptoms, right? And I won't even say number one, just the first one I'm mentioning. Don't chase after symptoms, right? Just like in my sprinkler analogy, it's only when I watched and dug deeper that I found the real programmed cause of my watering program. And the same applies to trading. If you want to solve a recurring trading challenge, I have a process for you, step by step. Right. And I've learned this over a lot of time and spent a lot of money. I think this is of great value, but this is not what I was talking about when it comes to your gift. But I want to give you the exact way that you can go through this. Right. And I'm not leaving anything out, but there's a lot that's missing just by nature because there's a lot of details. But I'm going to give you the foundation of how to eliminate and not repeat these trading problems. Number one is you have to start with a solid trading plan. You can't spot mistakes if you don't have a plan. If you are just noticing your grass is yellow, right, meaning your results are bad, the symptom is what that is. It's not the root cause. And trading, things like moving your stop loss or taking trades outside of your plan are symptoms, signals that a deeper belief or habit is at play, right? And surface level problems are going to solve this. But again, you have to start with this trading plan or you'll never even get on the path for solutions. Right. So you have this data, right? And you're looking at it in your weekly review. I want you to start the process with a breathing exercise. Before you start this self-inquiry, take a moment to calm your mind. Right. I like to do a small breathing exercise. There's all kinds of them. You want to close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose. Right. And there's 4-7-8 breathing. There's box breathing, but you just want to go in through your nose. You can do something simple. So I'll give you something in your nose, hold it for a count of 4, and then slowly exhale through your mouth and repeat this a few times. Focus on the feeling of your breath. In your mind, give your breath a color. Give it a nice color. Give it a blue or gold, right? So imagine you're breathing out this gold air. And I want you to focus on the temperature of the air as it comes into your mouth and out of your nose. So you'll repeat that a few times, and this is going to help quiet the mental noise so you can listen more honestly to what comes up in your mind. Number 3, I want you to write the issue down, right? You should already have it. And I want you to use a pen and paper. Yeah, that's old school because, writing by hand is a lost art, but it's going to help you connect more deeply with your thoughts because even the typing process is automated, right? Has a lot of unconscious activities to it. At the top of the page, write down the specific issue. For example, I keep taking low quality trades that don't follow my written strategy, right? So you're writing the issue down. Number 4, you want to identify the catalyst. So ask yourself, what prompted me to make that mistake? Look at your trading data or your journal. Is it always after a win, right? Where you start to get faulty? Maybe it's the first trade of the day. Is it after you take a loss that things start to go awry, right? If you don't have enough data, then what you need to do is stop here. You need to be extra mindful this week and simply observe when these mistakes are happening, which gives you kind of another level to focus on in your journaling and your data capturing. Once you have this, I want you to write this sentence. I'm likely to insert problem when insert catalyst. An example might be, I'm likely to take a low quality trade when market volatility is low. I'm likely to revenge trade when I lose a trade, even if it was an allowable loss, right? No allowable loss is something when we follow our entry plan, but the market says nope, right? And that's part of the losing and trading. Now 5, and it's key to understand that, because allowable losses, once you understand that they're there, then you understand that, okay, it's okay to lose, right? And our relationship with loss is big as we grow in traders. But anyway, identify the catalyst. When is this happening? Number 5, we have to start discovering the underlying beliefs. So now we're going to dig deeper. For each catalyst sentence, ask yourself, what must I believe to take this action? Listen to the first answer that comes. Don't censor yourself, right? Because your conscious mind's going to try to overwrite it immediately. Like, oh, I don't believe that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to admit that. Let it come to the light. Don't let it hide. Write down everything that comes up, even if it sounds silly or extreme or illogical. Aim for at least 5 possible beliefs. If there's more, keep going. For example, if your issue is taking trades outside of your plan where volatility is low, your list might look like this. I must believe the opportunity for trading is gone, right? And these are things that your mind's just saying. I must believe I have to rush and not wait until the next opportunity. For me to take this trade outside of my plan when volatility is low, I must believe my plan won't work if I follow it. I must believe I'll miss out if I don't act now. I must believe I can't trust my strategy in slow markets. Give me 1 sec. Let me make sure that I'm not going to stop recording here. So these beliefs don't have to be true. They're just possibilities your mind might be running in the background. Which takes us to number 6. I want you to rate each belief on a scale of 1 to 100. For each belief, ask yourself, you can even say, hey, subconscious mind, right? Just addressing yourself on a scale of 1 to 100. How much do I believe? And then you're going to fill in the blank. On a scale of 1 to 100, how much do I believe I can't trust my strategy in slow markets? Take the first number, write it down. Go through your list and give each a belief score. And this isn't a yes or no process, so it's not a binary answer. It's about seeing which beliefs have the most pull on your actions when you're honest with yourself. It's easy for us to lie and override answers when it's binary, when it's like, yes, no, I don't believe that, right? So we have to go deeper, right? So rating each belief on a scale of 100. Now, number 7, we want to go any deeper. We want to test strong beliefs. For any belief with a high score, or really you can do the whole list, right? I would suggest the whole list, but starting with the high score, you want to ask, if I miss the opportunity, what will happen? Right? So you're addressing these things that have high scores. Or if I believe this is true, what does it mean for me? What am I afraid will happen if I don't act this way? And this answer should be even more revealing, right? And be easy on yourself. Don't allow, I don't know, right? Don't be a lazy thinker. Depending on how much you are engaging your mind, how much you're reading, how much you are meditating, how much mindfulness you have, right? There's going to be a pushback on just saying, I don't know, and wanting to give up. And if you feel that way, you've reached a threshold, right? I forgot the psychological term for it, but there is a spot for every human in which thinking becomes too much, right? If you reach this threshold, just back off a little bit. But these answers should be more revealing, right? Like, I will never get rich if I don't make money today. I'll feel like a failure if I don't take every chance to change my situation. And you want to keep asking why, right? What does this mean for me to get to the deepest layer? The more you dig, the more revealing and useful this answer will be. Now, number 8 is release and replace the limiting belief. Once you reach this deep rooted belief or feeling, right? Both as we're seeking, it's time to ask for release. And you can do this in a way that fits your personal and spiritual practice. But you want to ask yourself, mind, subconscious, right? Even using your name, Jason. Is it okay to release this belief that I can't get rich if I don't make money today? Because the truth is, I can get rich even if I don't make money today, right? That's a general approach. Then there's a faith-based approach to releasing these beliefs, right? So if you're a follower of Christ, I highly suggest you ask him for renewal. Father, Jesus, can you renew my mind and faith and take the burden of this trading belief from my life, replacing it with faith in my transformation? At this point, you can start to gently challenge and chop at the old belief while slowly installing a new affirmation. So for the next few days, you want to say to yourself something that's the opposite. I can become rich even if I don't make money every day. And then you want to pay attention to how your mind reacts. And then you want to keep reinforcing the new belief. The truth is, you have to make space for these new beliefs. You can't try to cover up the old roots with new fruit, right? I'm just going to affirm I'm rich and wealthy when that subconscious is like, nah. You know, there's a phenomenon in hypnosis where words that our subconscious mind doesn't accept won't even be taken into the brain, right? You'll hear the speech as you'll hear it as that Miss Donovan, right? You know, that was the teacher on Charlie Brown. You'll actually hear that if your mind doesn't want to take that belief in. Remember, the brain, delete, distort, generalize before the information reaches us consciously. Remember the Labette experiment I talked about last week, where it said the subconscious mind knows the action before we think the action to take, right? So it's 2 steps ahead of us actually taking action. So we're going to slowly implement that new belief. Pay attention to how your mind reacts. And if you have new beliefs that are coming from that, right, new reasons why not to believe the more empowering statement and have the new empowering program, go back to earlier steps and work through that as well. This process is how you start to reprogram your trading mindset. I'm giving this information to you, you know, as detailed as possible. This is information that traders pay a lot of money from. I don't know if traders are telling you this, right? They're just saying, oh, I made this much money, but they're not talking about the journey and the path to break free from the cycles of repeating mistakes and support you both in your trading goals and your journey of personal and spiritual growth. Now, if you can't administer this on yourself, you can always, email me for support. You can reach out to people like trading coaches and to one of the, great time now. Let me stop there. Great time to give you guys the free gift. So I want you guys to do this. This is how you're going to receive these 2 powerful gifts. Step 1, there's a listener number on the episodes, right? And it says text me now or something like that. It's not my number. It goes to the fan mail. I want you to text the number. Just leave an honest review of feedback that you have on the show, right? Of how much you like it. And then step 2, email me at support@tradingascension.com. Use the title of the show as your email subject line. And in the body, you can write a message, right? If you want, or simply say, please send the gifts, right? And this is what you'll receive. I have a powerful AI coaching prompt that will guide you through a personalized trading mindset session. And this is a game changer for uncovering and transforming your trading habits. I'm going to send that back to you. You just type it into ChatGTP, whatever AI system you're using. Perplexity is what I like to use for these sessions. And it's going to be a game changer for you. Now, I'm also going to send you an exclusive link to book an intro call with one of the original pioneers of trading psychology. This is a rare chance to connect with a true OG in the field, someone who helped me from the, someone who helped me, but also someone who was a founder for the entire discipline of trading psychology. Before this person, that word wasn't even a thing. So you can get this introductory coaching session. It does cost, right? But it's under $80. It's a personal connection I have. So I'm not receiving any money, no payment, no commission. They don't even know that I'm saying this right now, but I know it will work for you. So I'm offering this out. I'm going to send you that resource in the email along with the AI prompt. And my only ask is for your honest feedback and engagement, and then let them know that, hey, I came over from Trading Ascension. So why am I doing this, right? I want to invest in your growth like I do every week, right? These shows don't cost you anything, right? I'm not here to sell you anything, right? We got a mastermind group that's going to be coming soon. It will come at cost, but this is 100 and almost 70 episodes. Haven't taken a penny from you. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing or I'm holy. I believe that I have no problem with selling courses, right? I was in a debate online about why would a millionaire trader sell courses? I'm not a millionaire, but just the conversation came up, and will be soon. Thank God. But I asked myself, why wouldn't a millionaire trader sell a course? Why wouldn't they? Right? What's the answer to that question? I think that's a better question. Right. And then all the answers to that question that I've seen come from limiting beliefs, right? People who have bad programming. So anyway, these are free resources. I get nothing from this, but there is a cost for that trading session, but it will be game changing. And you probably never had professional coaching. Have you ever went through a process like I just explained, right? Thousands of dollars in that process. Hope no one gets mad at me for sharing that. But, I'm just asking for these resources, fair exchange, that you just leave email me, let me know what's going on, and text that line, leave a review. So to recap, text the episode listening number, should be in the show bio, right? It's at the top on YouTube, at the top on Spotify, all the platforms that were showing up on Apple. Leave feedback or review. Email and use the text line, right? You can leave it on that platform. I guess that works too. Might be harder for me to see though, to verify. Email support@tradingascension.com with the show title as the subject. And I'm going to reply with your personally, right? This is not an automated system. I'm going to email you back with an AI coaching prompt and a link to book your intro session with a top trading psychology coach. Take action. These steps could truly transform your trading career, right? Invest in yourself and let's ascend together. Now, I guess that's it. Sorry for the abrupt stop here, but I thank you for listening. This is not an easy path. Showing up every day takes courage. You are courageous. You will. If you don't quit, you will reach your goals. Don't doubt that. I know you might sometimes, but you'll get there. Stay on the course. Keep growing. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. And here is to being the hero of your story. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Trading Ascension Podcast. I hope you're gaining valuable insights to support your day trading journey. If you found value today, I'd appreciate it if you could follow me on Instagram, Real Trading Ascension, subscribe on YouTube, and give this episode a like. Your support helps me grow and bring you even better content. Be sure to visit tradingascension.com for free resources, exclusive tips, and tools designed to elevate your trading. I'm inviting you back. Join me in the next episode as we continue to ascend together. Until then, keep ascending, stay mindful, and remember, your journey to mastering trading psychology and consistent profits starts with your commitment to personal growth. Yeah.